So the vibes in them.
Yeah, so you got Kamaru and Jack Harlow. Really, Jack Harlow, bro? Jack Harlow,
Yeah,
really?
I never have listened
Mm.
to him
I'm,
before.
I'm, he kind of okay. I'm not gonna say he bothers me. I think that this guy Jack Harlow is. I have strong opinions about him.
How do you have strong feelings about Jack Harlow? He's such
I
a like.
honestly,
He's not
honestly, I
even
don't. Honestly,
not.
I don't know why, but it may be. It may be a. I may feel some kind of way. It's probably stemming from something larger that I feel has happened for some time that sometimes go unchecked, like cultural appropriators, right? Can
You saying he's a culture appropriator? What would you say about him? What,
I don't
like
want
how?
I don't want to say that about him, but I kind of feel like he gives me those vibes, though. You know what I'm saying? Like he gives me like those Vlad TV
Uh-huh.
kind of vibes, like those. What's another guy I kind of feel like is kind of like that,
Are you talking about
like no jumper, like that guy. He be
okay.
having some wild. Y'all be like, yo,
I can't believe you
but
actually
Vlad.
you watch No Jumper?
No, I don't
Oh,
actually.
but you just heard about him.
I hear about him. I hear about
Okay.
him. I'm like, yo, I'm
And you
like, yeah,
say
that
Jack?
guy.
You saying Jack Harlow give you that vibe?
He
He
gives
don't
me
wait. He
that.
never say
He
nothing. You never hear him say
don't,
nothing.
but maybe it's his presence in
Wow.
like hip hop. And I
Wow.
ain't like it sounds crazy. I ain't gonna
They
lie.
didn't like that
It
boy.
sounds kind of wild, but like
Crazy.
I don't know. He just give me that weird vibe
But I'm
that
gonna say it
like
like this. Okay, so Jack
really,
Harlow,
man.
this I never listened to any of this stuff before, but
Yeah.
I came across it was a new album, so I'd be checking out a bunch of different stuff in different genres, and like this whole singing rappers genre, like a
Oh,
singing
yeah, that's the whole
rapper,
thing now. That's the whole thing
like
for sure.
they are a lot of them sound alike. Anyways, like
Yeah.
you can't really like. I was trying to like. It's really a thought experiment when I listen to something like Jack Harlow,
Hmm.
and to see
Okay.
how, or even Eminem, you know what I mean,
Hmm.
historically, to
Hmm.
see how you can listen to them and listen close to like they can
Hmm.
actually tell like they never said the N word. Look at that. Look at
Yeah.
that. They never said nigga. You
That's
could
one thing I
actually make a
respected
whole
about
rap
Eminem.
song,
Hmm.
but that's also means something about like black people when we rap it. Like
That's
it's
true.
a lot of niggas in black music.
It's a lot. It's a
Nigga,
lot.
nigga,
It is.
nigga, nigga, like nigga, that's a whole song.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
Don't
absolutely.
believe it, just watch, nigga, nigga,
Yeah.
nigga. Like, so it's like,
Yeah.
huh,
Yeah.
right? And like,
Hmm.
and he sounds, and you could put him on a playlist
Hmm.
of these specifically these sing rappy dudes,
Hmm.
and you can barely,
Just rock
you
out.
can't tell them apart. You can't tell them
Mm.
apart. But the music is
Mm.
vibey. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You can't tell them apart. You can't tell him he's white. You can't tell him he's black when you listen to the music. Um, he does explicitly call that point. He calls that out a little bit in one of the tracks where he's like, "Oh, I can't think of any other reason why I'm popping other than because I'm white. It must be the reason that I'm popping." So he says that, but he goes through a litany of him working and grinding and getting it through the
Yeah,
mud.
sure, sure. I would never deny a
You know what I
man's
mean?
work.
And
Yeah.
so and so
What you got to
when
do.
people then say the only reason you're here is because you're white,
Mm.
it's like, here's my resume. But yeah, I can't think of any other reason. He's kind of saying it like that. Why? And he
Yeah,
goes through it. He
sure.
goes through the whole
Mm.
list of his
Mm.
history and his storytelling and how he's talking about his life. He's not appropriating a particular
Mm.
somebody else's thug life or gangster life, whatever it is. But like,
So
I'm
so
not.
but that just tells me that I'm not the only person that got those vibes from him though. The fact that he made it a point to
Yeah,
make it to
he's
make it a
gonna get
joke.
it. He's a white boy
Yeah.
in hip hop.
Mm.
You know what I mean? He's gonna
Yeah.
get that. It's just a rite of
Maybe
passage
that's
at this
that then.
point,
Yeah.
right? And so what was the name of this damn album? It's called Jackman, right?
Okay.
So go check that album out.
Mm.
It's got and there's another song there. He's talking about brotherhood and everything. And he's talking from the perspective of being a little brother and then
Mm.
being an older brother to his own little brother kind of thing. And so there's
Okay.
some thoughtful
Mm.
songs in here. So definitely check it out. It's vibey. You know, it's the singing rapper type music. So
Yeah.
you know what to expect there. It's not just gonna be
Mhm.
anything super hype. But what I was really had on repeat was Kamauu. His album is called Lacuna in the House of Mirrors. And it was the same kind of genre of, you know, a singing rapper.
You said
Um,
Kamayu?
yeah, Kamauu. Yeah,
Kamayu?
pretty sure that's how he pronounces there.
An interesting
Um,
name.
and what I would add though that sets Kamauu apart is that he's actually a poet. I don't know
Mm.
if he's published
Mm-hmm.
specifically, but like
Mm-hmm.
that's where apparently he had his start. You know,
Mm. Mm.
is in poetry, and
Mm-hmm.
so you can when you listen to, you know, his forming a scene, you know, and even there's some spoken word that happens in here. You know, there's some bebop,
Mm.
you know what I mean, in some sections, and some like it's jazz, you know, it's jazz heavy, but
Yep.
it's quite unique music. It reminds me, you know, what it makes me think that I want to do. And I'm not saying that I'm saying, you know, these all these artists, these singing, rap, going, they're standing on the shoulders of giants. There's one particular giant that I think
Sure.
that is underappreciated in this specific genre that is everybody's doing now. Everybody's doing this now, right? There's nobody that's
Mm-hmm.
a well, I don't know. I can't name specifically, but there's a lot of guys that are not. Well, we have some real. We still have some boom bap guys. You know what I mean? They're just
Mm.
strictly rapping. But there's a lot of
Yeah.
people that are pretty big now doing the sing
Mm.
rapping stuff. And that person that deserves his flowers is CeeLo. CeeLo
Mm.
put out this album where he was singing and then he's talking about maybe I'm
Mm.
crazy,
Yeah.
and then he'll like
Yeah.
rap a little bit in some other spaces and
Mm-hmm.
in other songs. So
Mm.
he'll also do the singing too and like incorporate it in his
Forgot about CeeLo.
and so CeeLo
Mm-hmm.
is an early start of this sort of thing. I think and
Mm.
I shouted him out before. And I think
Mm.
probably one of our a long time ago in our preseason recordings
Yeah.
is T-Pain.
Yeah.
You know, T-Pain, you know,
T-Pain. Yep.
was an
Mm.
early manifestation of this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Um and these
You,
kids
you know, you
are
know what, you know what's interesting about that? Even in Florida, it's actually a big thing with like, I'm not sure how familiar you are with like Ball Greasy. Ball
no.
Greasy is a wow, really? So
I don't know.
I mean, at this point right now, Ball Greasy is like a Miami legend. But Ball Greasy is kind of like similar to like a T-Pain as far as his style, like rapping, but also having infused singing. And Ball Greasy was out like nearly as long. Like Ball Greasy been out for
Okay.
a minute. Like since I was like, since I was like in college, like he probably even before that. Ball Greasy was out for a minute. Like he's there was a guy that I knew in my high school that actually knew him directly because he was rapping too and all that stuff. But Ball Greasy, yeah, check him out. Like he definitely got some old Miami stuff, but he's still rapping, still, you know, touring all that stuff. But I just wanted to kind of put that in there because it's interesting that you're seeing like Florida rappers are kind of
Yeah.
like they've had
Yeah.
that sound, like low key, they've had that sound for a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, well, there's the history of it there,
Yeah.
and like I said, these kids are
Florida.
yeah, Florida,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I mean, then we go into the whole thing where you got some Ja Rules and stuff, but I think
Mm-hmm.
T Pain's time into this thing was earlier on. Not T Pain, CeeLo was
CeeLo, yeah.
earlier, even earlier on, and I think we might have not appreciated some of that solo CeeLo art back then, and
It was the
it may deserve a revisit.
it was ahead of the time. That's what
Hmm.
his style and his artistry.
Yeah,
It was just ahead of his time. It just wasn't,
I think somebody puts out
like
that
you said.
album today that does numbers. It does mad
Oh
numbers.
sure, yeah, for sure.